I've been called up, I think 7 years in a row.
It's annoying. Get on with it.
So this year I normally do a very specific technique to do it, but this year I just thought of the best feeling thought I could, and just allowed it.
Well, it's not uncommon once you find yourself here to repeat it, because your desire and your expectation are in the same place. When you want something and you believe it, then it is. You see, we're not calling you because of who you are. We're not even calling you because of what you want to talk about. We're calling you because of the vibrational frequency that you are emanating and its relationship with, in other words, if your desire and your belief are in vibrational proximity, then you light up in a different way. Well, you join us on this disc. So what are you bringing today?
Just a couple things. So somehow intuitively, I knew this last year to do the morning exercise, and I just had a fantastic year. How does one become more consistently appreciative? What is the best way to do that? Do you just always consistently choose the best feeling thought? Is there?
We're going to play with you just a little bit, because we know happiness is a terrible price to pay. All right, I'll appreciate if it'll get me to what I want.
Right.
But we don't want you to use it as a tool to get to what you want. We want it to be what you're reaching for.
Right.
Alignment is what you're reaching for. That's the goal. So you're appreciating because that's when you're whole. So that would be like saying, do you think I should bring all of myself to the conversation, Abraham, or just part of myself? Well, we think you should bring all of yourself. And that's the same question as, do you think I should be in appreciation or in criticism? It's the same question. And the answer to the question is, the more you do it, the more law of attraction makes it easy for you to do.
True,
and
so
the
true.
answer to the other question about when do you do it is, the earlier you get on it, the more likely you are to do it. And the more you do it, the more easy it is for you to sustain it until it just becomes a way of life. Appreciation is such a nice state of being, because appreciation is alignment. And alignment is blending with broader perspective. And when you're blended with broader perspective, you have more depth and breadth to your ability to appreciate. Esther came off the stage a week or two ago and met a friend, and they went for lunch, and everything Esther looked at was so magnificent that she sounded like a crazy person as she was saying, look at that, look at that. People who didn't know her probably thought she was on some sort of hallucinatory drug, because everything looked more beautiful to Esther than it did to normal people who were looking through their normal eyes. That's what the state of appreciation does for you. When you tune to the frequency that is source. Let's start in that place, because that's something that we haven't talked about much today, and we really want to get it into this conversation. That non-physical part of you is available to flow to you and through you. And when it does, you are more than when you've pinched part of it off. So when you're in that high frequency, you hear better, you see better, you smell. Everything is better when you are tapped in, turned on to this high frequency energy. So the question, how do I learn to appreciate more? By appreciating some and liking it enough to focus. Yeah. It's a choice. Abraham, how do I learn to eat the things that taste best to me? I keep getting nasty things in my mouth. Well, watch what you're doing. Just watch what you're doing. Get your eyes open, and through some trial and error, you'll have some experiences. But after a while, you know what thoughts take you down that path and what thoughts take you down that path. You know what people take you down that path and what people take you down that path. You know what memories take you down that path and what memories take you down that path. You know. This is not hard,
right.
You know.
Yeah, I get it.
Just practice it until the vibration of it carries you. Because what you're really reaching for is what comes next. It's what
right.
comes next. And so if you've deliberately tuned to the frequency, and the what comes next is so exhilarating, we know that to anyone listening in, this man, he had beautiful white hair and such a twinkle in his eye, and he was so exhilarated. And Esther couldn't stop thinking about that for hours and hours and hours. She just thought that was the most amazing thing. And when you think about it, it's a pretty simple thing. You rendezvous with people all the time. But it was the setup. It was the universal setup. Your inner being knows everything that you want to know and knows where you stand in relationship to it and knows the path of least resistance to get you to it. And the path of least resistance is not about getting you in the swiftest way from where you are to everything that you want to be. It's the path of most enjoyment that your inner being is guiding you on, you see. And so when you just begin making statements and meaning it, I want to feel good and I mean to feel good. And I want to feel good and I've got the tools to feel good. And I want to feel good and I've got the ability to feel good. And I like feeling good and now I am feeling good and this is what feeling good feels like. And then when something feels good, you talk to others about how good it felt. And then you just milk it and milk it and milk it and milk it until you've practiced it long past the moment. Now you've given it more airtime. You've made yourself solid in that vibration. And now a paradigm shift has occurred with you. A paradigm shift. You are a different person with a different point of attraction, and literally every relationship that you have must change to match this new shift. You say, not good to know? Are we shouting? We probably are shouting. As if volume would make you hear it more. Yeah.
So I had two other questions that just are just slight intellectual quandaries for me, and I'm paraphrasing
well, now,
what I understand.
We just want to ask you.
Sure.
So we're feeling pretty good. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
And is this question?
No.
Well, then why would you?
I agree.
Why would you introduce it into
agree.
this discussion at this moment?
There was a pause, and I thought, well, I should ask something else, but actually, I'm done.
That's a good demonstration, isn't it? Because I'm feeling good, but there's this thing I should do. Really? Really? You really want to do this thing you should do and jeopardize this high-flying disc? Esther said to us the other day, Abraham, I know that you want me to be on the high-flying disc before I do things. Get on the high-flying disc and then get on the high-flying disc and then get on the high-flying disc and then. But there is stuff I have to do whether I'm on the high-flying disc or not. In other words, there are deadlines. There's stuff I have to do whether I'm on the high-flying disc or not. And we say you'll get over it in a while. You'll reach the point where that will be so important to you that if you're not on the high-flying disc, you just won't proceed. Your employers will be slightly annoyed.